everyone knows, InfoWars gets attacked conservatively hundreds of times a day, just in print media and on national television. Well, sometimes we get attacked thousands of times a day. In the last few days, it's been reaching those numbers. New York Times, CNN, ABC News, CBS, you name it. They go after their main enemies. They say, Alex Jones is a total lying kook. There's no proof of election fraud ever. It's totally insane. Same folks told you that Obamacare was free. Then they say, and Trump's nuts. He gets his info from Alex Jones, which might be true maybe 2% of the time. Yes, Trump sometimes listens to the show, watches videos, reads articles. He reads everything, in his words. So they then try to discredit Trump, and they discredit us with a straw man. And the reason that's important is it's a tactic. They're attacking what they're scared of. Now, if you just joined us in the last hour, I spent 30 minutes laying out major university studies, internal Democratic Party memos, and even Politico, Bloomberg, you name it, admitting, in their words, their secret weapon is illegals, voting, and changing the Electoral College so that a state represents more votes as a block. And admitting that California alone, via illegals, in the last 3 election cycles, has added more than 4 million people to its voting rolls, because even though they're not voting, they're counted as a block in the Electoral College. It counts the entire population, not just voters. This is total proof that Trump is right. Then we found a bunch of other studies with millions of dead people voting and millions of illegals voting. It's mind-blowing. We just laid it all out for everybody. We're going to take that excise piece from the second half of the first hour and post it as soon as we can to Infowars.com. So if you're a radio listener, you can share it with your friends and family and see it for yourself, because this is an info war. And we're going to continue to hurt CNN and hurt the global crime syndicate every time Don Lemon comes out and calls Trump a liar and says there's just no proof. It's insane. And he has a Bozo the Clown looking New York Times guy up there looking like, you know, the cat ate the canary, going, it's just hard to deal with it when a president has no proof and says these things. The problem is there's too much proof. But just like Obamacare said, it had death panels, it had committees that decided who got treatment, bioethics, just like it had 18,000 IRS agents in it to raise taxes on people and have $5,000 penalties that started hitting 2 years ago and phased up to 2017 at $5,000. Ladies and gentlemen, my crew didn't want, a bunch of them didn't want Obamacare, and a bunch of the crew got hit with penalties, and we started getting hit with them last year. Oh, but it doesn't exist. You just get tens of thousands of dollars of notices from the IRS. But you see, Don Lemon's laughing at me because it doesn't exist. See, he said so. He's arrogant, Don Lemon. I just think about how arrogant his head is, how arrogant his face is. I want to play that first again. And then I'm going to play the fact that they're claiming there's Trump's war on media. And then there's a 5-minute CNN clip from last night attacking yours truly, where they say that Trump gets his alternative facts from InfoWars, again. And it's the biggest bunch of bull you've ever heard, except for one part. They go, Alex Jones claimed he had press credentials, but they've said they haven't been issued to him. I said, we've been offered them and we're going to get them, and I've been talking to folks. It doesn't even matter. They have to give them to me. If we have somebody that lives in D.C., it's a non-issue. But they want to rub with the idea that I lied about that and that we're these losers who are on the outside and aren't press. Just crazy how they play these games by defining things, but then they go and admit in the piece, but actually, Jones can get the credentials if he wants them. Yeah, I could have 50 people with the credentials. It just doesn't mean they'll be in the frontline White House press corps, which we don't even particularly want to do, except, I don't want to let this cat out of the bag yet, but I don't want to terrorize the mainstream media too much. But I tell you what, just as an experiment, since it freaked you out so much, we're in the process. They reached out to us, top well-known veteran journalists that want to work with InfoWars, that have worked with top publications and currently do, coming to work for us, who've already had White House press credentials. So, you know what, instead of having one, I think I'm going to do 3. How's that sound? How's that sound? Just to rub it in. And then I'm going to play clips of you saying I'm lying forever. How's that sound? Kind of like I can play clips of saying that Trump's 15 points ahead in polls and your polls are fake, or that Trump's going to win, or that Trump's going to win Pennsylvania. And you made fun of that a lot, didn't you? Because you think it's all a big joke. Or that, you know what, I'm just going to stop right there. It's just hilarious to watch a bunch of posers, a bunch of pretenders, sit there and look at me that built my own giant media empire that reaches billions of people every quarter. And you sit there and look at us and say we're pathetic when DrudgeReport.com, new research study out today, is #1 in the world and dwarfs the top 10 media companies combined. InfoWars, according to Quantcast, dwarfs the New York Times, dwarfs the Washington Post. But I don't dwarf the top 10 at the same time like Drudge does. And guess what? I love the fact that Drudge is so much bigger than us. It makes me feel so good to know that there are other people out there walking point in this dangerous situation. And again, they claim MSM is really #1, but they actually have to admit later that, well, Drudge is #1 because ESPN and MSM have a database of emails and fans. That's how they claim it's bigger. But when you get into total news coverage, Drudge is bigger than Fox News, New York Times, BuzzFeed, all of them combined. And they do weird stuff to us at Quantcast and at all these other things. They just delist us. They just don't even show us. It's a blank until we bitch at them. Then they post it back up and a day later take it back down. Because I guess taking us out of the winner's circle makes us not be winners. I was talking to one fellow who I know pretty well who was the host of a major survival show. And they make him sign a contract that it's all entertainment. And when he won, they said, well, it's not politically correct because you're a white guy from Texas. We're not going to give you the win. And he said, okay, just took the money. But that's how this whole thing works. It's really wild to just actually be in the Google Analytics and to see yourself bigger than all of them and then to have them sit there laughing at you and thumbing their nose at you and telling you you're a loser. And again, this isn't about InfoWars. It's about the fact that these people are all about rigging everything, and they wonder why they're a shadow of their former selves. It's because they're so discredited. No Don Lemon, no New York Times, no CNN. Trump's not lying when he comes out and says 3 million illegals voted. They've got studies going back years showing that, and we showed them last hour. But let's go ahead and go to Don Lemon.
I think that in journalism, our role is not to be stenographers. Our role is to be watchdogs, and we have to provide that kind of accountability. And I think when a president or anybody else says something that is verifiably, empirically false, then one has to call him out on it.
Yeah. It's tough to call the president of the United States a liar because you want to respect the office. But I think it does a disservice to the American people and even to the president and even to, you know, journalists not to call it what it is, and it is a lie.
It is a lie. No, you are verifiably and empirically a fraud that works for a known organized crime syndicate known as CNN, run by criminal elements of the Central Intelligence Agency. Gore Vidal, before he died, wrote about the fact that he'd be at CNN and they would have CIA section chiefs there running the organization and basically trying to censor him. This is disgusting. I mean, Anderson Cooper's been CIA for 20-something years. What are you doing in the media? And people are like, oh, there's no CIA in the media. Really, Obama signed a piece of legislation, the NDAA for 2017, a month ago that said the CIA will be over the board of governors of the FCC through the State Department and will spend hundreds of millions of dollars countering disinformation in America. 3 years ago, they changed the federal law so the CIA could engage in domestic propaganda. You want me to pull up Foreign Affairs, the Washington Post? Oh, but the CIA is not involved. They go, Alex Jones is discredited. He says Anderson Cooper was CIA. Well, he only worked for him previously. Oh, I see. He only worked for the CIA previously. Thank you for explaining to me how all that works. I really appreciate that. Oh, he's really discredited. Anderson Cooper only worked for him before. Oh. And then with no journalistic background, just comes in and reads off a teleprompter. Alex is discredited too. He said Trump would repeal Obamacare, and now he started doing it. See, all we do is deliver. All we do is tell the truth or die trying. And whenever we make mistakes, we come and tell you. And we make them routinely on little stuff. And most of the time, I report something as smaller, and it was actually bigger. Just like I was saying last week, 1.3 trillion out of the stock market. Well, I'm sorry, by the time I was saying that, it was 1.7. By Monday, it was 2.1. It's now 2.2 trillion as of this morning. And Trump knows our only hope is to have a super bubble that beats this bubble to actually get industry back, stabilize things, and then to reorganize, because they were meaning to pop the bubble about now, even if Hillary got in, and then have a class war. He's trying to stabilize all that. I'm not a friend of bubbles, and Trump's not either, but he understands that they've doubled down. They're betting on this because it's our only hope, folks. We've all got to hire. We've all got to expand if we want to try to beat these people. In fact, that's why I'm going to expand. I'm going to hire more. I'm going to double down, do everything I can, because this is the prosperity the people need to absolutely discredit crony capitalism and collectivism. We're going to be right back after this quick break, and I'm going to get into so much more on the economy, you name it, and the latest CNN propaganda piece that is unbelievably deceptive. Stay with us. This has been adopted as of 2017 by the Department of Defense. All four branches of the military, Combat One. And guess who in the spring of 2017 has the exclusive right to sell this to everybody else but the military? Infowars.com. I want to commend Q and Patrick and the rest of our team. I want to commend Combat One for getting the big Pentagon deal. And I want to thank them for supporting us because they know we support America. We are the exclusive source of Combat One skin and muscle optimization, field foam, field spray, skin and muscle optimization, and broad spectrum hygiene tactical bath. Contains 8 pre-moistened cloths. Ladies and gentlemen, these are incredibly affordable, and they have patented proprietary systems that annihilate germs, you name it, across the board. That's why it's been adopted by the Pentagon, by the Defense Department, system-wide. I'm going to go over some of the numbers, some of the proven statistics, and the claims that Combat One can make right now. Never before has the public been able to access this new Combat One military-grade hygiene technology used by special operations to maintain hygiene during survival situations. Studied for safety and effectiveness by St. John's Medical Research Institute, St. Jude's, and the American Journal of Infection Control. The technology behind Combat One wipes kills bad bacteria while leaving beneficial skin bacteria unharmed. That's the key buffer. The toxic wipes, the sanitizers kill everything, including your immune system. They lower your fertility. It's all admitted. Combat One is able to do this naturally by only targeting the bad stuff. And again, it's all patented. It's super secret. 12 years, Special Forces testing it. This is something every info warrior needs to order, needs to have in their home, needs to use in their daily lives, whether it's cleaning your guns or your own skin, or when you're out camping. This is the game changer. The entire family of Combat One is available exclusively at InfoWarsStore.com.
Just coming back from the river where I was using one of our water filtration straws, a certain device we sell here at InfoWarsStore.com, and I had smacked my knuckle pretty hard the other day with my knife after cleaning one of the animals. So I want to use some Combat One foam, show you guys that we actually use it, how well it works. This wound's been open for about 5 days now. I just dipped it in and out of the river, so just a better safe than sorry. Once I let that soak in, I'll wrap it up, field dress it nice and clean again.
And it certainly is coming to the rescue with Combat One. Born in America, made in America, and now distributed by InfoWars to America.